can't think that they're gonna be perfect the entire time, because that's not gonna happen. It's just not. Were you perfect as a teenager? No. You just have to be ready for it. Hey guys, it's your girl Sierra. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be about Degrassi, parenting, and the psychology of parenting, really. So yeah, we all know about the show. If you're watching this video, you should know about Degrassi. It's been around for like 30 years. Started all the way back from Degrassi, Kids on the Street. So went from there all the way up to the version that they have on Netflix, which also got cut because it's Netflix and they don't like anything good. Anyway, also to be honest, it could have been written better too. Maybe that's also because it was also on Netflix. We have seen several parents on the show. We've seen some interactions within these relationships between parents and children. Some are more, I would say, level, like on the surface level of interactions, and then there are some to the extreme in terms of abuse. But this video is purely for entertainment only. I'm just ranking these parents based on parenting style. But what is a parent-child relationship? It is a complex bond between a parent and a child, and there are 4 types: secure, ambivalent, avoidant, and dismissive. So we're gonna dive into each one, give a definition, and then we're gonna jump into the parents, as many parents as I can remember that they at least mentioned on the show, and then we'll go from there. When it comes to secure attachment, it's exactly how it sounds. The child is independent, they're more resilient, they're better at emotion regulation. There's a mutual respect and love between the parent and the child in the relationship. For an ambivalent attachment, the child tends to lean on the parent more, but the parent isn't giving the child what they need. They don't feel as if the parent is a safe space for them to go to. So a lot of the times, these parents are not that involved, and the children are typically clingy. They demand, they're demanding. They have a lot more trouble with emotion regulating, and just overall not feeling as secure in the relationship between their parents. So that's more of like an insecure attachment. Next up, we have avoidant, and avoidant is more so when the parent isn't giving the child any emotional or any attention, really. So typically when a child is going through any struggles in their lives or trying to just navigate life in general, the parent isn't as present. So that's a little bit different from ambivalent, because the child is seeking the parent's attention and they're involved, but they're not as involved. But avoidant, the parent is just like, no, I'm not. Especially when it comes to like the emotional side of it, and providing comfort for their child, they're not doing it. It's not there. It doesn't exist. These children tend to struggle with intimacy and closeness, and are typically high functioning, so they're able to mask it as if they are fine, but they tend to be like hyper independent too as well, because they didn't rely on their parents. They didn't feel like they could rely on their parents, so then in turn they tend to rely on themselves a lot more and don't really trust other people too, especially when it comes to having those really close connections, like I said. Dismissive parents exhibit behaviors that leave children confused and scared, really. So it's really not a secure home at all. So this is when children are unable to really decipher what's happening, what's going on, if the parent is safe for them to be with, to communicate with, to have a relationship with. And you see this typically in a lot of like abusive homes. So children who experience a lot of trauma, this is where a lot of the issues with their parents come up. All right, so we're gonna break this down by generation. So I have Degrassi, the next generation, Degrassi, and then next class. Some parents might overlap, or they have been carried over into one generation versus another, purely because of just when I was doing my research and watching Degrassi back, how we introduced some characters early, and then later on we get characters that are older than those characters, and technically they would belong in the other class, but I did my best to organize them. Also, if I miss any parents, please let me know in the comments below. By the way, please like this video, turn on your notification bell before we dive right on in. I'll wait. All right, let's go. Starting off with Hatsalakos. a very interesting parent. I wouldn't say per se she is dismissive, but I feel like she's more so avoidant when it comes to Peter. And in a way, she also probably had spoiled him early on too, because the way how Peter acts on the show, he thinks that everything is, especially at the beginning, everything is supposed to be handed to him. He can do whatever he wants. And I feel like that's Hatzalakos and her husband's issues with them not being actual parents to Peter and just allowing him to do what he wants. They're not providing him comfort necessarily, like emotionally, but they are just throwing money at him. Like his dad, even when Peter is looking for a place to stay because his mom, Hatzalakos, wants him to move to Regina, his dad is like, oh, you guys will be fine. You know, me and my new wife, we have a life here. We can't take you in. And then once he has his daughter, he doesn't want to do anything for his daughter, and he puts his daughter on Peter. Very much a lot of just avoiding being a parent, period, because his dad is trifling. But also with Hatzalakos, I feel like with her, it's very much so of not knowing where to toe the line with holding him accountable and letting him be him. And in a way, she does emotionally disregard him because she's not focusing on that, because God forbid she take 1 minute to actually see what the hell is happening. The only time when she actually like stepped in, I would say, was when Peter did crack. That's when she like finally moved a little bit more towards, I would say, more ambivalent. It's not secure yet, but she did try a little bit more with that situation going on because it was such a drastic situation and it was like in her face. Like she couldn't, she was like, oh, my son needs help. We need to figure this out type of thing. Moving on to Emily, which is Alex's mom. Definitely, I would say herself, I would say she's more of a dismissive parent. I don't think she actually traumatized Alex by her behavior, like her hitting her or anything like that, but her way of being an alcoholic, neglecting her daughter, being in unsafe environments, because since her mom was drinking, she was allowing men coming in and out. When Alex's mom lost her money because the boyfriend stole it, Alex had to resort to stripping to get the money back to pay rent. You're putting your child in unsafe situations because you can't hold your own. You can't get out of your own way to be a better parent and to grow and be a parent to your child. So I'll put her as dismissive. Ellie's mom is definitely dismissive as well because she was an alcoholic. She did not care for Ellie whatsoever. There was like a sliver of a moment when she did, but a lot of the time she was drinking. But I think it was also because Ellie's dad was gone all the goddamn time. I don't know why you want to fight for that goddamn country so damn bad. Like, it gets to a point where it's like, are you avoiding your family? Because they say he was going back in, because at first, when we introduced to Ellie, her dad is in service, and then her dad goes back to service. Goes back to serve even more. So it's like, how many times have you done this before? Like, have you done this since Ellie was younger? Because when we're introduced to Ellie, she's already severely depressed. She's self-harming. How long has he been doing this? Like, it seems like he's an avoidant parent. Like, he's just not there. He's more so focused on protecting the country. It's like, but protect your daughter though. And your wife is clearly depressed. Maybe you didn't want to work through that. You didn't want to help her. I don't know, but it's very much so. Her mom is a very dismissive parent, and her dad is it seems like he's avoidant to me, because I get you want to help serve your country, but damn, like, your wife clearly needs you, and you know she drinks. He even told Ellie like to take care of her mom. That's your responsibility. That's your wife. You married her. Ugh. I don't know. Something not right. Okay, we're getting to Spike. I feel like Spike is a secure attachment as much as she can be. She raised Emma with a lot of morals. Emma is a very like spitfire character. She can be like overly passionate and overbearing, yeah. But that's Emma's personality. It's not anything that her mom has done to warrant her to do that. She does I think like leans on Emma a little bit too much, but she's not so in the way of like taking anything from Emma. I think it was Channeling Chinese, or I forgot which YouTuber it was. God damn it. Once I find the video, I'll credit them. But they were talking about how Spike leans on Emma to the point where Emma has become like very much in need to be in control. It really had triggered her need to be in control, to be like hyper vigilant, because Spike had leaned on her so much, and possibly also when she was pregnant, the way Spike was acting was pretty much setting Emma up already to have this kind of personality just by how Spike was behaving. And probably also just her emotions too, because your womb and mother are tied together. So whatever you're feeling, the baby's feeling. So she was already like pre-programming Emma in a way to respond in certain ways, because that's how she was responding. Spike was feeling like her life was out of control. She didn't want to have Emma, but she did have Emma. She didn't know what to do, what was going on, because Emma's dad, god damn it, Shane, I was to say Sean, because Shane's family wasn't helping her, so there was a lot going on. So Spike was going through a lot, and so within her body, Emma was also feeding off of that too as well. And also growing up, I bet Spike, she clearly was as supportive as much as she can be for Emma, but Emma also does make it hard too. So, but I feel like Spike is a secure attachment pair. I feel like that's a secure relationship that they have with each other. It's just a strong personality that Emma has, and she makes you work hard to love her, okay? Like, I could literally just seeing Snake dealing with all of Emma's shenanigans. I know he's just like, oh my god, please don't give me a heart attack. I already went through cancer. I already did chemo. I don't want to die right now because you're doing the most. But that's her. Jimmy's parents are avoidant. They don't care. They throw money at him. They're working full time. They don't even care that it's Jimmy's birthday. They're like, oh, we got work. You can order a pizza. Yeah. And so also just playing off to that, Jimmy is very much a latchkey kid. And that is the time period where a lot of kids were latchkey kids, like very much let yourself in, do what you need to do because your parents are working, especially in a black household. Even though his family is affluent, you also have to work twice as hard to get to where are. So I feel like it was very much his parents overworking themselves because of that too as well, and having to keep up that image. And if they even took a day off, they're like, oh, you're slacking. Like, it's always something when it comes to being a black person who is in the professional field. It's always something that you do, all of a sudden it docks your entire personality, or now you're in trouble because of just some simple stupid shit, is that we have to work twice as hard just to even get the bare minimum that other people can get. So there's also that too as well. Liberty's parents, I don't know necessarily if they were avoidant. I feel like they're more ambivalent. I feel like they are like heavily involved in their children's lives, because the way that Liberty is, who is so headstrong, passionate, and she has like goals and ambitions, you could tell her parents raised her to have those fucking goals. Like, they did not play. They said, what do you want to do when you go to high school? What do you want to be when you want to grow up? Okay, when you get to high school, and when you get to junior high, because that's where she started, like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to be involved in? And so I can see her going to her parents and be like, oh, I want to be the secretary for the school presidency thing. I can sit and be like, yes, all right, come on, let's put a plan together. What issues are you gonna cover? What's the way you want to approach this? Because when Liberty was running for secretary, she had no one on her team to help her. We had Toby and we had JT doing their little joke version. Terry was helping, god damn it, why am I blanking on her name right now? Ashley. But Liberty was running the whole damn thing herself. So I could see her parents probably helping her at home with that. Maybe Danny too, because he has to, because, you know, he's there. But yeah, I feel like they're more ambivalent parents, especially when it came to Liberty being pregnant. It was kind of a weird situation. They were trying their best to handle it. They were just like, what the fuck, Liberty? Like, they were like just thrown through a loop. Jumping to Sean's parents, I would say, are more dismissive. If I remember correctly, Sean did say that pretty much, like, I think it was like his parents, he felt like his parents didn't want him. They were also older too. And then when they were crying on TV about the shooting incident, his mom was crying. He was like, why is she crying? So that kind of reaction, it kind of gives to me that it wasn't a secure household. It wasn't a safe household for him. He also ends up moving in with his brother, which is why he's even at Degrassi anyway. So yeah, I can probably see his parents being more dismissive and then trying to turn that around to be as best as they can. Which is kind of why Sean ended up going back to, I forgot where they live, going back home with his parents and staying with them for a while, trying to repair that relationship. Toby's parents, I would say they're more, his mom is more ambivalent and his dad is more secure. The thing is, they have a problem with each other. So that's why Toby was like, I don't want them to be at I was like at parent conferences. I was like at parent teacher conferences. He's like, I don't want them there together because they literally go at each other. And you can tell though that Toby's dad is involved, or as best as he can be, because when Snake does bring up his missing assignments, he does look a little defeated, just like, oh man. And his mom is berating him. She's like, well, if you're not going to do what you're supposed to, maybe he should live with me. He was like, we'll work on getting his assignments done. And like Toby said, it's not his dad's responsibility to make him do his work. It's not. He's getting older. When you're in junior high and you get to high school, it's not your parents' responsibility. You're getting older. You're becoming more responsible. You're supposed to be able to at least have the responsibility to do your fucking work. Is it going to be right 100% of the time? No. That'll be your responsibility as a student as you get older to ask for help. You have to start advocating for yourself because your parents are not going to do it anymore. They did that shit in elementary school. And along the way, they should have taught him, like, you know, obviously parents should teach your kids along the way during elementary school to advocate for themselves, to raise their hand, to ask for help. So then when they get to junior high and high school, they're able to ask for help without feeling as if they're stupid or anything like that. But I feel like his dad is more on the secure side because he does his best. I bet him, Ashley's mom, Ashley and Toby all sat down together and talked about moving in together. They even go to therapy together. His dad is like, we're going to therapy to make sure like we're a blended household and it works. His mom, on the other hand, she's constantly working. She's not emotionally available, but I don't think she's necessarily avoidant. She wants to be there. She's overworking herself, which is why they divorced. Problems. Manny's parents, mainly her dad. Her dad, oh my God. I don't even think I could categorize him into one of these. He is a hover parent. He doesn't let Manny do anything. It's not even a secure relationship because Manny doesn't even feel safe to be herself. And it's not dismissive. It's not like an unsafe household. It's a safe household. He just overdoes it. He's overbearing. He doesn't let her go out at night. He doesn't let her do any activities, which is why she romanticized being with Craig. She's like, someone please save me from this wretched man. Like, I see that in Manny, so I can't really categorize her dad into any one of these. Maybe avoidant because he's not really caring about his child's emotions. Like, he's very like, we're not doing that. Not a secure parent, like a secure relationship for Manny. Ashley's parents, I feel like they're secure. They're very supportive of each other because her dad, we find out that Ashley's dad is gay, I think episode 3 in the first season. So they're still very supportive of each other. I bet, you know, they did struggle with him coming out. But they're fine. Ashley's well-adjusted. Ashley's fine. She can be annoying, but she's well-adjusted. Her mom is supportive. She does what she does as a parent, she's in family therapy to make sure that Ashley feels safe in the house with having a stepdad and a stepbrother. Yeah, I mean, literally, even when Ashley got the package of the condoms, her mom was just like, oh, what's that? And she was like, oh, it's just girl stuff. She's like, ew, girl stuff. And when she's like, Mom, she's like, okay, fine. Like, she knows when to, like, just, like, stop, draw the line, let her daughter be a teenager. But she's still there as a parent. Anyway, Joey Jeremiah, I think he is trying so hard to be the secure person. We have like a secure attachment to Craig. It's Craig's trauma from his dad that leads him to, it leads the relationship to be difficult. But I feel like Joey Jeremiah as a parent is secure. It's like a secure attachment. When it comes to like with Angie, it's very secure. With Craig, it's more so on Craig's side from the trauma from his dad. So not even saying like it's Craig's fault. It's Craig's dad's fault for the trauma. But Joey is now trying to combat that extreme dismissive, abusive household with having a secure household. And it's really hard because now we find out that Craig is bipolar too. So that's a whole nother factor in there. Like, we don't know how that came about. Like, it could have been from being in an abusive household. It could literally be, it could be anything. And all the factors from Craig's environment and home life, losing his mom, staying at his dad's, and then losing his dad, like, all of that played a factor into his mental health. And now Joey has to try to help him out and combat the negative experience he's had. So Joey's doing his best. It's just tough. It's really bad, really tough circumstances that Craig was in, and it's really making it a hard adjustment. And then later on, we get Craig doing crack. He's a grown man, but still, like, it's certain factors and certain things that Craig had experienced that it makes it hard for Joey to kind of get him to, like, just be a whole person and know how to manage his bipolar disorder and just be mentally well. But he does his best. I love Joey Jeremiah. Y'all can't tell me shit about Joey Jeremiah. He fucking tries, okay? He got beat, he got punched in the face by Craig, and he still didn't like whip out he didn't pew him or nothing. He was just like, what the fuck? Okay, we need to help him because it's a lot. I say avoidant because obviously they were trying to deal with the fact that their son is gay. Moving on, Riley's mom avoided too as well. Didn't want to deal with the fact that her son was gay. And she literally, I bet before then, she was, like, you know, a secure attachment, a really positive relationship between them. But with his sexuality and things starting to come out when she finds Riley and Zane kissing, immediately just flipped to avoiding because she doesn't want to acknowledge his sexuality or his emotional state when it comes to having to hide who he truly is. And she's just like, no, just fake it. Don't tell your dad yet. He's like, what the lady? So that's how I put her. Paige's mom, I feel like Paige's mom is, we don't get as much about Paige's mom, but I feel like she'll be more ambivalent. Ambivalent or secure, really, because we know how Paige is. But when it came to her grape from Dean, I feel like her mom really stepped up in that way to make sure that they did everything that they could. She's like, no, she's like, we're not letting this man get away with this shit. Absolutely not. Like, she didn't take no shit about that. But it could be either one depending on that. Holly J's mom, I feel like they have like a secure attachment, so I feel like it's more secure relationship that they have. They're very affluent. They got money. I don't think she's neglecting her at all emotionally or anything like that. Her mom is hardworking. Her dad is hardworking. So they instilled certain skills in her to be a boss-ass bitch, to, like, go after what she wants. And even when Holly J does struggle with, like, Declan and all that certain things, she's able to talk to her mom about it. And her mom isn't like, oh, well, I'm not going to talk to you about it. Or, like, oh, my God, just teenage love. This is stupid. No, her mom sits there and actually talks to her. She even tells her when they go broke, she's, like, sitting there trying to help plan out what they need to do. She's like, I need to get a job, too, huh? She's like... She's like, well, you need to get a job. I need to get a job because we need to figure this out. We're a family unit. So give me a credit card, cut that shit up. She's like, nope, we can't do this. And she's very much a parent who's as much involved as I think she can as possible. And now with this shift of them not having the money, she's working too, but I still feel like they still have a secure relationship. Jane's parents, well, we know her dad. Yeah, he's a dismissive parent. He's the one that actually caused the trauma for Jane. Thanks a lot, man. Her mom, I feel like her mom is avoidant. Yeah. I believe, because I skipped those episodes because it just, I can't stomach the episodes, but if I'm remembering correctly from the first few times I've watched the episodes, Jane says her mom didn't know, but her mom also didn't want to talk about it either. So it's just like, girl, we need to address this. But also, she was also dealing with the fact that Jane's brother had a child at 13 too. So she was just like emotionally drained. She was like, I don't fucking know what to do with this child. I don't know. What the fuck happened? Like, no, he was 14 or 15 and Mia was 13. Yeah, it was something like that. But still, like, she's very much an avoidant parent. Mia's mom is secure attachment. She's very secure. She's very helpful. She's helping Mia raise her daughter. So when Mia is literally going to Paris, her mom relocates. Like, they all move over there to keep doing what they do. So she's a very supportive parent. She's doing everything that she can. I don't think we never heard about Mia's dad. I don't think Mia had a dad around, to be quite honest. He could have passed away. Maybe they divorced, or maybe they never got married. We don't know. We don't know anything. But yeah, Mia's mom is very supportive, very secure attachment. Anya's mom, I feel like Anya and her mom have a secure attachment. They're very supportive of each other, especially when her mom gets sick. Anya's making sure she's going to her doctor's appointment. She's checking on her even prior to the diagnosis. She was very much just like, what's happening? Are you cheating on Dad? She's like, no, what the fuck is happening? Like, but they have like such a secure relationship where Anya feels very comfortable to make sure she knows that her mom is okay. She has the heart in her to make sure her mom is okay. Her mom makes sure that she's okay. And then if she thinks that her mom is doing something wrong, she's ready to confront her ass. She don't got no fear to say anything to her mom. And I found that very funny when that scene came up, when she thought her mom was cheating on her dad. She was like, no, my God. Like, what's wrong with you? Jumping to Degrassi. Mr. and Mrs. Edwards. I feel like Claire's mom can be secure attachment at times. Her dad is definitely avoidant. Claire's dad don't give any. I mean, he already cheated on Mrs. Edwards anyway. He already cheated on his wife. This is my opinion, but I feel like Mrs. Edwards, she can be secure attachment. It's also just their religion too as well. Like, there's certain things that she didn't talk to Claire about when she was younger. And then when they do get divorced, Helen does struggle with talking to her about the actual issues going on between their marriage. But I feel like that's also because she believes that's between the parents and not between the children. But that's not true. The child should also, they don't need to know the ins and outs and the details, but they need to know that, yes, we're arguing, but we're trying to find a solution, or we're trying to talk it through. That's teaching your child conflict resolution and effective communication. Not doing that leads your child to thinking that something's wrong, and then they're just waiting, like Claire wrote in her paper. She was like waiting for the words. She knew that they were going to get divorced. It just kept building up and building up. You avoiding it, not talking to your daughter about it, it doesn't help. You're just creating more fear in her. So now she has a fear of relationships ending, or if one thing is a problem, things just fall apart. Literally, when Claire is talking to Eli, she's having a whole freaking breakdown. She was like, we're different, aren't we? He's like, yeah. I don't see how that's a problem. She's like, opposites get married and they have kids and they fight and they get divorced. Like, she started to go down that rabbit hole. And he's like, whoa, calm down. But literally, if you don't talk to your child about this, that's what happens. You have them literally thinking of the catastrophizing the worst. Like, that's what they end up doing. So I'm not surprised. But then after that, as her mom starts to like date and go out, I feel like she's trying to get back into that secure attachment. But there's still certain things that she just doesn't tell Claire. So I feel like it depends on the situation, but that's purely because of her religion and probably her beliefs of like things that children shouldn't know. But yeah, Allie's parents, I feel like ambivalent. Because her parents are highly involved in their kids' lives, Indian household, actively involved in their kids' lives. Allie starts to do certain things, and obviously she's hiding a lot of stuff. So she's become very good at it. They don't know these things until literally when Allie's nude photo gets leaked to Bruce. Luckily, thank God it was only one person. As bad as Johnny was, I still can't stand Johnny. At least it was just Bruce. Like, even Bruce was like, oh God. And that was it. Bruce, and well, obviously because Snake saw it too, but it didn't like get out there like throughout the entire school, because then that really would have, Allie would have had a different experience. Luckily, her experience with Johnny wasn't as broadcasted as it could have been throughout the school. Like, we did have a moment where she thought she had an STD, but it was still very like in between her and Johnny. But Allie had been really good at hiding stuff. So when it started to come to head, when that situation came about and they finally got her record, her book, literally, she like had like a fucking notebook essentially, because she had started the damn Degrassi page about I Hate Holly J, and the photos, like the girl already had a record. Like, it was like shit. And then later on, when she does, when they finally like get her back home to really just like showcase that they know that their daughter can make mistakes and will make mistakes, and that she's a flawed child, but she's not a bad child. She's just flawed. She's a teenager. Stupid teenagers do stupid all the time. Like, you can't think that they're gonna be perfect the entire time, because that's not gonna fucking happen. It's just not. Were you perfect as a teenager? No. You just have to be ready for it. Like, you have to be ready for your child to do some fucked up shit, okay? Hopefully not murder, but you know what I mean? Like, you have to be, like, ready for that. There's gonna be things that they don't tell you, obviously, because they're teenagers. And I feel like that's where her parents just didn't understand, is that their daughter is a really smart student. She's a really good daughter. She's a really good person, a really good friend, but she is capable of being flawed. They couldn't piece that together. So I feel like it is more ambivalent. There are some aspects of it that make them avoid it, because they really didn't want to acknowledge the fact of how Allie was feeling when they sent her to that private school and then she ran away. But I feel like it's more ambivalent, and then when she came back home to talk to them, I could see them becoming more of a secure attachment family. Allie had the pregnancy scare, she threw that underneath Jenna, and so obviously, because they were starting to see her through rose-colored glasses again, that didn't fucking help. But they have gotten better in a way, I would say. So that's them. Casey's mom and dad, dismissive, alcoholic, dad in jail. But mom wants to have a secure attachment. She wants to have a secure relationship with Casey. Casey's just resilient, but not resilient. But Casey is refusing it pretty much because of his traumatic past. Which I don't blame him, because girl, how can I trust you? Did he do a little bit too much sometimes? Yes, but granted, yeah, you left him in a fucking closet as a baby to go get high, and you think that he's just gonna get over it. That's not gonna happen. Just saying. Drew's mom. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Finally, we're on Drew's mom because she gets on my nerves. Mrs. Torres pisses me off. She is not even on this freaking board. She is like, I mean, on this list. She is worse than Manny's dad. And that's tough to beat because he don't let Manny do anything. Drew's mom, Mrs. Torres, is the worst parent I've ever seen. One of the worst parents I've ever seen on Degrassi. In terms of, like, overbearingness. We all know Craig's dad ain't dead now, so we ain't got to deal with him anymore. But in terms of on the other side of actually, like, being a bad parent, Mrs. Torres takes the cake. Oh, I can't stand her. I still can't stand her. Because literally, I think it was like in one of the videos, one video I was watching, one of my Degrassi YouTubers, they mentioned that it feels as if Mrs. Torres never actually truly came to accept Adam. And it feels like as if she's playing a part. Like, she's still not fully accepting Adam is Adam and not Gracie anymore. And then with Drew, she idolized him. Not even idolized him because she knows he's a dumbass. But she's like, she's overbearing. She's extremely overbearing. And then when Drew does get in trouble, she immediately goes after Allie as if Allie did something. Your son was the one in the boiler room getting jerked off by Bianca. But you're yelling at Allie for what? And never apologized to her. Not a goddamn thing about Allie ever again. And then when he gets with Bianca, all of a sudden, it goes from like, oh, I don't like her to, oh my goodness, I want to help her. What? She's not a consistent character. She's not a good parent. Like, I don't understand her. I don't get it. Nothing about her is a good parent, to be quite honest, in my opinion. She's just not. Because how can you turn around and berate one girl and then later on praise another girl who was doing something worse with your child? In the freaking boiler room, he just cheated on that girl. What the hell? And then whenever there is something going on in school, she's one of those parents on the student board that always got some say. It literally, when Eli was doing his Romeo and Jules play, she was like, nope, we're not approving this. We're not approving this. She's one of those bitches. Like, she gets on my nerves. I can't stand her. She is not a good parent. She's not whatsoever. I think she's overly stressed because we never seen their dad. We never heard their dad before. Maybe in Adam's episode, their dad was mentioned once, but we never see him. So maybe she's like overwhelmed. Maybe it was a bad divorce. We don't know what the fuck happened. And then she's just so tightly wound and extremely anxious and all over the place where she can't even parent her children. And so now she's like, oh my God, now Adam is going through this sexuality, identity crisis phase. Oh my God, I can't keep up. Like, maybe she's just spiraling. I don't know. And then when they lose Adam, she still feels tightly wound when it comes to Drew. Like, girl, ease up. Relax. Get a massage. Do some meditation. Go to therapy, bitch. Something. Ooh, Lord. I could not stand her. I don't know what's wrong with her. All right. I got that on my system. Let's move on to Eli's parents. I feel like Eli's parents are more so ambivalent. Like, they're involved, but they also let Eli do his own thing. They knew that Eli had a lock on his door. They're probably like, okay, he probably just wants space. He's being a teenage boy, whatever. They allowed Eli's girlfriend, Julia, to move in with them before, when she was struggling with her aunt, having fights with her aunt and stuff like that. So they're very lax parents in that way, but they're also involved in what they can. They're more involved, I feel, emotionally than a lot of these other parents on the show. They're more so involved emotionally and creatively too as well, because they're a very creative family. Bullfrog, is a radio show host, and he does night shift, so he's asleep during the day, but it's not like, oh, I'm just not gonna do anything. They're like, oh, it's Eli. Like, you know, he's like just not gonna do anything. Like, he doesn't know where his child is. He knows what the fuck he knows what, at least what Eli is up to, or at least, or it's like, oh yeah, Eli's not here because Eli has his own car. Cece, I don't know what she does, but I feel like both of them as parents, they're both just like very much more emotionally supportive parents, especially because of losing Julia. So they felt they've worked with Eli a lot emotionally with coming terms to his grief, and also just being creative. It's the mental health side that they didn't know. I don't think they really dived into that. They probably just like, we're just a happy, chill family, and underlying that is Eli's certain behaviors that were bubbling to the surface, but they didn't know. Like, we saw Eli have his outburst at his locker, which kind of should have been the first trigger for bipolar disorder. I'm just saying. But we start to see it slowly that comes about. So possibly when he was a child, they probably just like, oh, he just has a lot of energy. But it probably didn't come up. It probably came up literally. The time we were watching it is probably when he literally started to experience bipolar disorder. Because, you know, with mental health in your body, your brain does stuff at weird times. You don't know what the fuck your brain is doing half the damn time. It does stuff all the goddamn time. Things change. One day you're fine. The next day you're having seizures every fucking day. Brain on fire. Read the book. So I feel like they just didn't know what to do, but they do step in and they do the best that they can for Eli. So then when Eli starts to take his medication, they check it, especially after that outburst he had with Love Roulette. They were like, you've been missing your pills, haven't you? Like, so that's when Bullfrog literally comes up to the school and watches him swallow the pill. He's like, lift your damn tongue. he's like checking. Like, it actually turned into more of like a secure attachment in the more parenting, really, to make sure that Eli was okay. They start doing different things, going to therapy. He's running, exercising, so he has more of a routine. So they're like, okay, cool, this is working. So I feel like they have, it has developed more of them being parents, and they're not as lax. Even the scene where, I believe it was when he went to go take a shower and Imogen was in his room. I didn't see a lock on this door. I didn't. Did y'all? Or maybe it was just the angle, but I didn't even see a lock. Maybe they took the locks off his door. They're like, no more locks on your door. We cannot trust you. We don't know what the fuck's going on there. We don't know we need to make sure that you're okay. And not even to be like in a rude way of just being like, no more lockers, like no more locks, no more privacy. But more so of just like, we need to make sure you're okay. Take the little lock, take that thing off your damn door. So I can feel like that is more so of how they came to be as parents. Fiona's mom, secure attachment. Mom is very supportive. Even when Fiona comes out, she's just like, oh, okay. Fiona's just like, that's it. She's like, what do you want me to say? Like, they're very secure. They have a very secure relationship. Her mom is very supportive. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Like, literally, I feel like out of all of the households, even though Fiona's parents are rich and they probably, you know, has some stuff going on probably prior to it, and also with her mom embezzling money and all that weird shit. But as a family unit, they're a very secure family. Yeah. Shocking. Like, literally, it seems like a lot of the affluent families, minus Jimmy's, because obviously, the affluent families are more secure households. Wild, I know. Jake's dad, I would say Jake's dad is more like ambivalent, maybe. We don't see too much of his dad, but we know that he is supportive, and he does work, and Jake does work with him, so they work well together. Good communication. Jake wants to do something outside of his dad's business, which I feel like is something they can figure that shit out, talk it through, and and solve that kind of problem. Snake. Snake as a parent, not just for, I put down for as Connor's guardian, but also for Emma. I feel like he is like Joey Jeremiah. He's trying really fucking hard. He is like a secure parent role, a secure relationship for a child. It's just a lot that they have to navigate with the children that they're having that relationship with. Because like with Connor, we find out that he is on the spectrum. He also has some instances going on where he is stealing girls' panties from the locker room, the panty raid. And Snake handled that the best he could. Not to be like dismissive of his feelings, but just being like, okay, Connor, we need to find more appropriate ways for you to be interested in girls, okay? Because we don't do that. That's socially unacceptable, because Connor didn't know. So Snake had to be like, we need to find a more... that's socially unacceptable. We don't do that, okay? That's what creeps do on the internet. You're not a creep on the internet, okay? If you like a girl, just tell her. Like, finding different ways to help Connor with that, especially when it came to the weird lady from the video game thing online. When that situation came up, and when Dave, and I think it was Dave and Wesley found out. No, yeah, when Dave and Wesley found out, they were like, Snake! And Snake was like, you don't get in the car with any strange bitch. Got it? You don't get in the car. And yeah, I feel like Snake handled that as best as he could, because he said, absolutely no, you don't get in no random lady's car, get off that damn game, you're grounded for a month. Like, he handled that the best as he could. And then when it comes to Emma, he handled Emma as best as he could too, okay? Because Emma was something. When she took off that goddamn dress for the purple dragon, he was just like, oh my God. She was this close to giving him a heart attack. Like, I swear to God. She stressed that man out. But, Snake and Spike have Jack. I bet as a parent, he's just like, please just don't start doing shit, sister. Please, I beg of you. Please be on the calmer side, okay? Not even like normal, but please just be calmer. Make it easy for me. I beg of you. Dave's dad. We don't see much of Dave's dad, but I would say that he does his damn best. So I can't say he's avoidant or dismissive. Maybe ambivalent as a parent, because he's also a black man who is a cop. You already got a lot of shit out there for being a black man, being a cop. They call you a sellout, and then you got all these fucking issues going on. You got Dave over here trying to be popular, trying to get these kids to like him, which is desperate. Which, by the way, I was rewatching. When Allie wanted to be cool, Dave talked shit about her wanting to be cool in front of Johnny. And then all of a sudden we give Dave the plotline where he wants to be cool. I'm sorry, did we forget that? Like, literally. When Allie wanted to be seen as cool in front of Johnny, Dave talked shit about that to her and said, like, you care too much about what people think. And later on, he cares too much about what people think. What the that? Did we forget the original plot line? Because I would love to have seen Dave as, like, a character who just didn't give a fuck. Maybe he would have been a better friend of Wesley if he... I think they forgot they had that as a plot. Anyway, Becky's parents hate them. Avoidant. I would say avoidant. Especially when it comes to Becky when dating Adam, and then when Becky told on Luke. Very avoidant. They immediately just like... Because I bet before when she first came on, it was a very secure household. Very religious household, but a very secure household. And then when all that shit went down, they immediately flipped on her ass. Yep. So I would say they started secure and they ended up avoidant. And I bet even with Adam passing away, they probably would still be on the outskirts with her. Because that happened because Adam passed away before the Luke grape situation. So I could see them being like, oh, honey, but still not really addressing to her emotions with losing Adam. And then the fact that she ends up dating Drew for a little bit, I don't even think she probably introduced him to Drew, to be quite honest, because that'd be really fucking weird. And then the whole baby daddy situation too, that would have been weird to introduce him at the time. And then later telling on Luke, they're probably just like, well, now we don't have any child at all. Like we don't have a daughter at all. No, she's too emotional. She's crying over her dead transgendered ex-boyfriend. Oh my god! And she and she got her brother arrested for nothing, even though obviously he did it. We know he's guilty. But just speaking of her, thinking in terms of her parent, they're definitely avoidant. Miles's parents, terrible people. Dad, dismissive, abusive. Clock that. Mom, avoidant. She does not want to address the emotional state of her children and of her household. Nope. And she knew that her husband was cheating on her. I bet she did. And she knew what he was like. And she just didn't care to address it. Okay, maybe not all affluent families are fine on the show. Just a few. Just Holly, Jay, and Fiona. Because this is an affluent family. And they were fucked up. Yep. That's them for you all. Alright, moving on to the last category. Degrassi next class. Shay's parents. I don't want to put them in the same category as Mrs. Torres because absolutely not. That would be very disrespectful. But they're on the same plane as Manny's dad. Secure attachment, secure relationship, but overbearing. Because they're like, Shay, you can't date till you go to college. It's like, here we fucking go. Like, she has to be the golden girl. She has to, she's doing this, that, and the third. We have a good household. But you're limiting Shay from being a fucking teenager and realizing that she's a flawed person. Everyone's a flawed person. But you don't want to see the fact that Shay is going to go through some shit as a teenager. And I think it's also, too, is just being very protective because she is a black girl, too, as well. So they're even more, like, trying to shield her from the world. They're like, nope, you're not going out to parties because we don't want you to get raped. We don't want you to get involved with any, like, police or anything like that. We don't want you to have to experience any of that. So they're very, very, very protective in that way. I would say even more protective than Liberty's parents. Because even Liberty's parents, Liberty didn't do anything, to be fucking quite honest anyway. So they probably weren't even worried about her. But with Shay's parents, I feel like they do kind of overdo it. And Shay doesn't do much either. But Shay does get interested in Tiny. Like, that's when Shay mentions Tiny, they're like, a boy? Immediately defense mode. It's just like, okay, here we go. Zig's mom. I feel like she's probably avoidant. We don't get too much of her. We just know that they're poor. Poor or poor? I don't know. But anyway, we know that they're poor. She has the convenience store. So she is probably more stressed financially and trying to make sure that she has a roof over her and her son's head. I don't know if Zig had siblings. I don't think they discussed it. But the fact that Zig starts to act out and behave in a certain way, she's like, nope, get that away from my fucking shop, because I believe he was stealing from the shop too as well. So she's like, you fucking with my money. So she's more so focused on the financial safety versus on the safety of her child emotionally, mentally, and socially. So that's her. Maya's parents. We saw the dad more so when Katie was going through what she was going through. We're doing the drugs. But we didn't see him again after that. He was there for like maybe like 2 episodes. Anyway, but yeah. Her mom, I feel like her mom is secure attachment. I feel like they have a very secure relationship. And then once Maya starts to go down her dark road, her mom is trying to understand her. She's trying to help her out. She's very nurturing. And so even when Maya acts out and, like, you know, shatters the mirror, she does like flinch because she's scared, and, you know, Maya was getting frustrated, but she's not outwardly yelling at her, telling her to go to her room, or being like, oh my god, why are you being so fucking difficult? She's not doing that. She's more so just afraid for Maya than being afraid of Maya. Grace's mom, secure attachment, very supportive, taking care of Grace, because Grace has I forgot. God damn it, I forgot. But Grace is sick, so her mom is just very much trying to help her live as long as possible. So she takes her relationship with her daughter extremely seriously. Yeah, that's really all for that. Zoe's mom's trifling. Zoe's mom is definitely avoidant, borderline dismissive. Not to say that she traumatized Zoe, but she is literally, I feel like it's very conflicting behavior that she gives Zoe. Like, she gives her praise and attention when Zoe does well, when she gets roles on shows, or when she does well. But when Zoe's not doing well or not making money or anything like that, that's when she's like being an asshole. Like when Zoe doesn't want to do the role for the one show that she was auditioning for, where she had to do that traumatic scene and it kind of triggered her. Her mom was just like, what do you mean? You're supposed to go back. You're supposed to go do it. Why are you going to turn him down? Like, oh my god, you're being difficult. Girl, really? Not a good parent whatsoever. I don't remember how she handled the grape situation. I really don't remember. But even after that, when Zoe does come out, she immediately just wants to cut ties with her. It's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? A dismissive parent, actually. Let's just go with that. Zoe's mom is a dismissive parent. She's not a good parent whatsoever. Okay, so pretty much what we get overall from these parents is that a lot of these parents just really have difficult relationships with their kids, or they're just difficult parents in general. A lot of the times we don't see too much of the parents, so some of these were based off of bits and pieces where we have seen them, so this is just my interpretation of them. But also the fact that there are still secure attachments and secure relationships between parent and child on the show. So they showed a mix, clearly. And that they really just showcased a lot of life as teenagers, and so how parents really respond to that, or how they act in terms of how they act towards their child, but also towards maybe their partner or their environment, how they navigated that. In turn, obviously showcases how these teenagers have behaved throughout the show, and how they handle certain situations. This is a long ass video. Hopefully you like this video. Yeah, comment below maybe a parent that I forgot and what you think their relationship is like with their child. Yeah, so until next time, you guys, love you. Bye.